The final straw for me, the major issue here was some ideological differences with the party, but essentially the party, in my view, not really democratizing. They promised they would democratize Zia Yusuf, and I'm glad you got Christopher there because he did a brilliant interview with Zia Yusuf on the 22nd of August, when Zia said he had the finest legal minds working day and night to produce a constitution that would democratize the party. And actually, when that constitution turned up, it was a reheated document from 2022, which I'd already rejected. It had been changed a bit, but I doubt very much it had any legal minds having looked at it, given the way that it was drafted. And the other promise that Nigel himself made was that the party, which is a limited company, would be converted from one limited by shares to one limited by guarantee. And actually, legally, that's not possible. You can't convert a company limited by shares to one limited by guarantee. And indeed, no applications have been made to the Electoral Commission for any change in structure. And the democratization issue is fundamental to me for reasons that I hope I made plain in my little tweet and video that I put out this morning. And the final straw, I think, for me, with the party seemingly not being prepared to democratize and saying and doing things with which I don't wholly agree, but one could have, had those debates with the party. But the final straw for me was hearing in the last few days that HQ at Reform had told branches, people with whom I've campaigned shoulder to shoulder, people who joined the party because of the leadership that was being delivered by Richard and myself. We galvanized this this movement. People that I knew so well had been banned from hearing from me. And I thought, well, if the party takes the view that the people that I've galvanized into this movement alongside Richard shouldn't hear from me, then it's time to leave the party.
Okay, Ben, my next question is quite straightforward. Why did you do it today? Today was a day where the 100,000th member was announced. That was Dame Andrea Jenkins. This is a day of fast forward, of action, of positivity for reform. A lot of people are saying, was your timing cynical to try and damage the party on what should have been a good news day?
No, it wasn't cynical. Of course it wasn't cynical. I wanted to make sure Christopher had an opportunity I didn't know what was being announced today. It was obviously secret until it was announced. But I did want Christopher to have an opportunity to question Zia in public on the declarations that he made on the 22nd of August for the Constitution, which hasn't been delivered, no applications of the Electoral Commission, and indeed to question Nigel on the declaration that you can convert a company limited by shares to one limited by guarantee when you can't do it. These are fundamental issues. These are not things of semantics. They're fundamental points of difference.
Okay, well, Chris Hope's here now. I'd like to fire a question at you as well.
A number of areas that I don't agree on. The first, and perhaps the most basic, and again it's not semantics, is I don't think Brexit's been done, and Nigel, the leader of Reform, says Brexit's been done, but we just simply haven't put enough distance between ourselves and the EU. And at no level can I agree with that declaration, because we've left Northern Ireland behind. What we voted for was for the UK to leave the EU, not for Great Britain to leave. Okay. And we're hitched at the hip with the EU in a whole load of areas, including net zero, ECHR, etc.
It's just for me. You're talking about companies and democracy, and we get that. The Tory party is hardly very democratic, and I've been covering that one for 20 years. I mean, for me, is this not about egos? Does it not go back to the brass tacks that you aren't at the top of the party? Other people are. They're there because they're MPs. You aren't an MP. You want people to listen to you, and then you haven't got those top roles in the party, and that's why you're off.
No, because I couldn't care less whether I've got a top role in the party or not. I was extremely reluctant to join Reform. I didn't want to be in a political party. I'm quite capable of campaigning outside a political party, and I've got no desire to get my bum on a green seat. If getting my bum on a green seat helped the country from the precipice on which, and it helped save the country from the precipice on which I think it is now standing, then I would put my bum on a green seat. But that's not my aim in life. I'm 59 years old. I run a perfectly good business. I'm well off. I'm doing this because I have an absolute belief that the country is facing an existential threat constitutionally, democratically, economically, and culturally. I'm not in it for political advancement. I use the media to the extent that I need to in order to deliver my message. I'm not hooked on the media. And